Cardinals baseball here on Let's Talk Sports. And it is a beautiful day here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. The Cardinals and the Washington Nationals. Michael McGreevy, the rookie, gets to start today. He has been dominant in an already dominant Cardinals rotation. Wilson Contreras, he's hitting .355 over his last 8 games. On the Nationals side of things, Luis Garcia doing the same thing. He's hitting well in his last 8 games, but he's hitting .444. And then, of course, the Cardinals offense, the bullpen has been looking good. The Nationals bullpen in the last 4 games has been looking pretty solid. And once again, this is Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Cardinals and the Washington Nationals. Cardinals won Game 1. The reason why we're doing Game 2 is because this is a Saturday game, and of course today's Saturday in real life, so I kind of like to sometimes, play a game like say we're playing, like the game I'm playing right now is a Saturday. I like to play it in real life on a Saturday, But yeah, Michael McGreevy, his last 2 starts has been really solid. He's been really fun to watch in the rotation, and I feel like it's been a while since we've seen him pitch. So we're going to watch him pitch today here against the Nationals. On the mound for Washington is Trevor Williams. 7 starts this year. He has an ERA of 5.30. He's 2-4 on the year, 37 innings pitched, 1.18 WHIP. And he has 22 strikeouts with a strikeout rate at 14.1%. Isn't that something? So here's Trent Grisham to lead things off for the Cardinals. The quick counts are on for today, so hopefully that doesn't really bother anybody. Grisham hits a high fly ball to right field. Catch is going to be made, and that is going to be out number 1. We will see the Cardinals lineup right now. Trent Grisham led off. He's in center. Then Lars Nootbaar bats second and left. Wilson Contreras hits third at first. Nolan Arenado in the cleanup spot. He's at third. Then Jordan Walker, Alec Burleson, Mason Wynn batting 7th at short. Pedro Pages doing the catching today. He bats 8th and batting 9th, and second base is Duran. So that'll bring in Lars Nootbaar hitting .298. On the season so far. He was hurt for a little bit back in April with he was out for I think 10 days. Forgot what he had. I think it was like an arm problem or something. I don't remember, but he's got the count 2-2. Nationals coming into this game 13-26 on the year. Trevor Williams gets the strikeout. That's out number 2. That's his first of the day. Here's Wilson Contreras. Even though this is a Saturday game, I know I should have the powder blue jerseys on. But the Cardinals, they also have this thing where the old Navy road caps that they wore from like 1992 to 2012. They wore the Navy road caps full time every season for road games. Well, since 2013, the Cardinals have this thing where they wear the navy blue caps when they only play red teams. And as a 9-year-old, when that rule first came out, I thought that was like really stupid. And I still think it's kind of dumb as a 21-year-old. Contreras strikes out. Let's see what Michael McGreevy can do here in his half of the first innings. He has not lost a game yet. 3-0 on the year, 7 starts, 2.38 ERA. He is looking really good. He has been really solid. We'll see what he does here against Edmund Rosario. There's a grounder to short. Mason Wynn throw to first in time. That is going to be out number 1. So we'll see the Nationals lineup real quick. Edmund Rosario was the leadoff hitter. He's DH. Batting second in center field is Jacob Young. Hitting third at second is Luis Garcia. Hitting cleanup at short, C.J. Abrams. Former Cardinal Juan Yepez bats fifth and right. Then James Wood. Paul DeYoung, another former Cardinal, batting 7th at third. Then Keibert Ruiz and Alex Call, all in that order. And then, of course, you guys know the Cardinals on defense. Contreras at first. Second base is Duran. Shortstop Mason Wynn. Arenado's at third. In the outfield from left to right. Nootbaar's in left. Trent Grisham's in center. Alec Burleson's in right today. And then Pedro Padres behind the plate. There's a base hit into left field. It fell right behind Arenado, just kind of skipped into left field. And that'll be the first hit of the game for the Nationals. Here's Luis Garcia, who has been hitting the ball really well as of late. There's a slider taken for ball 2. 8 RBIs for Garcia on the year, only 1 home run. So he's kind of like Fernando Vina in a way, where he was a solid contact hitter. Fernando Vina, if you guys don't remember him, he was a second baseman. He was on the Cardinals, early 2000s Cardinal. Played a little bit with the Brewers. I think he was on the Mets at one point. And then he spent a year with the Tigers and then retired. Here's a 2-2 to Garcia. There's a high fly ball on the left. Nootbaar's going to give this some chase. He tracks it down for out number 2.
Batting fourth, shortstop C.J. Abrams.
So 2 outs now. Here is C.J. Abrams. Hitting .216, 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Of course, was a big part of a trade back in 2022 at the 2022 trade deadline. Started off his career with the Padres and then came to the Nationals in a trade. And a blockbuster trade that sent Juan Soto to San Diego. And then the Nationals end up getting C.J. Abrams. They got Mackenzie Gore out of that trade. And I want to say they got James Wood out of it, too. I don't remember. I think they got a third prospect. I know they got a third guy. They got more than just Mackenzie Gore and C.J. Abrams. I'm just trying to remember who else they got. But Abrams strikes out. We go to the second. No score here in D.C. Maybe a Nationals fan or a Padres fan could let me know in the comments or in the chat at some point. Who else was in that Juan Soto trade? Nolan Arenado, base hit up the middle. That's going to be the first hit of the game for the Cardinals. A little base hit into center field. So the Nationals had their first hit. And the Cardinals have their first hit. Here's Jordan Walker. 1-2 count, hitting .260. 8 home runs, 36 runs batted in. Here's the 1-2. That is going to be rip foul. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Walker, another ground ball to third. And also going foul, yes. For those of you just tuning in, the quick counts are on today. Just because, why not? And Jordan Walker is going to hit a home run because why the heck not? He can do that. Gives St. Louis a 2-0 lead here in the second inning. Home run number 9 on the year for Jordan Walker. That was a nice 404-foot blast to right field. And just like that, it's 2-0 Redbirds here in the second inning. That was just a nice home run. And now we'll see what Alec Burleson can do. Been a while since we've seen him in a game. He's going to get a base hit into right field. So how about that? Nice way to follow up the home run. Here's Mason Wynn, hitting .248. He's hitting 7th in the lineup. He's hit I know he was hitting leadoff at one point. We've had him bat second in the lineup. We've had him bat seventh. He's hit eighth. There were a couple times, I think, where we had him bat ninth. Still trying to find a consistent spot for Mason Wynn in this lineup. You know? He's going to pull this one foul. The count is 1-2. Mason Wynn, him and Jordan Walker were, I believe, drafted the same year. Which is cool. 2-2. Both were called up in 2023. Jordan Walker at the beginning of the season in 2023. And then Mason Wynn was called up in August when the team was absolutely struggling. Fly ball to right, one away. Trevor Williams finally getting the first stat after all that chaos. And now bring in Pedro Pages, hitting .371. Look at that. He's also got yellow batting gloves on. Ivan Herrera, who has the day off today, he usually has the yellow batting gloves on sometimes too. There's a double play ball to Yepez. One, and they got them both. Juan Yepez turning a double play on his former team, but Jordan Walker ripped a 2-run homer to right field. We go to the bottom of the inning. 2-0 St. Louis. And here is Juan Yepez himself. The former Cardinal himself, Juan Yepez, hits the fly ball to right field. Catch is going to be made. And that is out number 1. One-man gun, that brings in James Wood. I want to see real quick if he was in the Juan Soto trade, because I feel like he was. Let's see real quick. I'll look this up real quick. 2 balls, 1 strike is the count. Okay, let's see. Was he in that trade? Let's see. So the Nationals traded Juan Soto and Josh Bell to the Padres. In exchange, the Nationals got Robert Hassel III, who is still in the minor leagues and is doing really good this year in AAA. 29 games played. He's hitting pretty well. Nationals should be calling him up soon. James Wood, grounder to second. 2-away. They got Jarlin Susana, who's in single A or double A this year for the Nationals. Also having a solid year in the Harrisburg Senators rotation, 5 starts. And then they did get C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, Luke Voigt, and James Wood. So what do you know? Here's Paul DeYoung. He strikes out. Luke Voigt, another former Cardinal. Fun fact. 3rd inning coming up here in D.C. Michael McGreevy. He's on his A game today at the end of 2. 2-0 St. Louis. Here's Ezekiel Duran. Hitting in the number 9 spot today. He too's he's been back and forth between both the leadoff and the number 9 spots in the lineup. Game 2 of a 3-game set here in Nationals Park. Washington Nationals, St. Louis Cardinals. Here's a 2-2. There's a sweeper upstairs for ball 3. These are 2 teams that see each other quite a bit. A lot more than you think, like in spring training. Obviously, we see the Nationals a lot for spring training. Fly ball to right, catch is made. And then, of course, in the regular season, we see them in St. Louis. And then once here in D.C., obviously. These are 2 teams that have met a couple times in the playoffs, 2012 and 2019. And then when the Nationals were in Montreal, so you guys know how the Cardinals have their spring training facility in Jupiter, Florida, and they share it with the Marlins. Well, when the the Nationals were still in Montreal as the Expos, the Cardinals used to share their spring training facility with them. So before they shared their facility with the Marlins, they shared it with the Expos. So, of course, we saw the Expos a lot in spring training. Fly ball to right field. Trent Grisham is going to have his first hit of the game. That is, I believe, hit number 4 on the afternoon for St. Louis. Here is Lars Nootbaar. 0 for 1 today. We'll look to try and change that. Instead, he strikes out on a fastball, and now he's 0 for 2. That's the third strikeout for Trevor Williams. And now bring in Wilson Contreras. Was Trevor Williams a Cub? He was with the Pirates. I think he got traded over to the Cubs at one point, and then was with the Mets. And then, of course, for the last few years has been a National.
3 balls, 1 strike.
3-1 to Contreras. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 1 for 5 in this series. Had the home run. Homered in the first game of this series. Here comes the 3-1. There's a liner right to C.J. Abrams. And we go to the bottom of the third inning. Cardinals leave a runner on. Ruiz, Alex Call, and Edmund Rosario all do up for the Nats when we return. 2-0 Cardinals. Here are the Cardinals in their last 10 games. They've been red hot. They were on a big win streak at one point and then lost to the Mets. But it doesn't matter because they're on a winning streak again. Picked up where they left off, as you can see. Still won 2 out of 3 against the Mets. End up sweeping the Pirates. And won the first game of this series here against the Nationals. And then after this series here in Washington, we go to Philadelphia for a much tougher series against the Phillies. Ruiz grounder to Arenado at third, 1 away. 1 out, here's Alex Call. 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, hitting .278. Alex Call, I believe, started his career off with the Twins, I want to say. He started off his career with the Twins, and then he came to the Nats in a trade.
2-1.
I don't know if that's right or not. Did he start his career with the Twins? Let's see. Cleveland, sorry. That's right. He got traded for Lane Thomas. My apologies. Yeah, I don't know why I thought he started with the Twins.
3-2.
Alex Call, full count. Oh, you know who I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of Killaroff. Alex Killaroff, he was a Twin. And Duran's going to track this one down into shallow center field for out number 1. I kind of want to see this again. Alex Killaroff, what the heck? What happened to him? I see he hasn't really played this year. Is he hurt? There's a pop-up in foul territory. Contreras makes the catch. End of 3 here in Nationals Park. 2-0 Cardinals. I do want to see that Duran play again, if that's okay with you guys. Let's see. Pop-up. So I kind of want to see this again. It was a little pop-up. Shallow left center field. Both Grisham and Duran are calling for it. Duran, of course, is the one who makes this play. Hold on, did I see the Nationals have people warming up in their bullpen? No, neither bullpen's active right now. I imagine both teams. I imagine Dave Martinez, the manager of the Nationals. I imagine he'll go to his bullpen here very soon, though. 2-1 to Arenado is a grounder to Luis Garcia at second. Throw to first in time. That is out number 1. Here's Jordan Walker. Had that home run his last time up. He's the reason why it's 2-0 Cardinals.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
My apologies, I had to clear my throat. There's a base hit into left field. Walker's 2 for 2. And he is in at second base with a double. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice of Jordan Walker? They go 2 for 2. With a home run and now a double. 1 out. Here's Alec Burleson with a runner at first. There's a fastball. Strike 2. Burleson singled his last time up. Burleson, Mason Wynn, and Jordan Walker were all drafted in 2020. Isn't that something? And all 3 of them are up here in the big leagues. Here's a 2-2. That is fouled off. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 runs. That's how many runs the Cardinals have scored today so far. That's also how many people we've got in the chat. What's going on? Hopefully everybody's having a nice Saturday. My Saturday is kind of lazy, as the weather is not the best right now. It's kind of rainy, cloudy, a little wet. Makes sense because it was raining. My mom texted me and she was getting her mower fixed today.
Ball 4, take your base.
And there's ball 4 to Alec Burleson. Yeah, I guess her lawnmower was having problems. Like, it was...
Shortstop, Mason Wynn.
I guess whenever it starts, I know some of you guys aren't really big into, like, lawn care or whatever, but when her... I guess when her lawnmower was, like, whenever it would start up, like, it would leak oil.
1 strike.
And also, like, the you know, the pull cord that you use to start up the mower? Well, I guess that was broke. So she had to go get that fixed. Here's a strike, 2-2. 2 lefties warming up in the Nationals bullpen. So she knows a guy who lives not too far from her. She knows a guy that is really big into, like, fixing lawnmowers and stuff, so she went there to go get it fixed. As Mason Wynn strikes out, here's Pedro Pages. He's got a chance to bring in a couple runs with 2 outs. Walker's the runner at second, and Alec Burleson's at first. 2 balls, 1 strike's the count. That's up high, ball 3. They might end up walking Pedro Pages to try and get to Duran. That's a fastball. That's strike 2. Ooh, we have 3 people in the chat now. Let's go. I know for some people that's nothing, but for me, I mean, I'm a tiny channel. Like, I'm not. I mean, I have 420 subscribers, so for me, if 2 people come in, you know, it's a pretty big deal, because that means people find me entertaining. Anyway, we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. This is kind of a slow game. Jacob Young goes down swinging. Or he didn't go down swinging. He went down looking, I should say. He thought about swinging, but then he saw the pitch and he was like, nope, I'm not swinging at that. And then the umpire called it a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike's the count to Luis Garcia. He is hitless like most of this Nationals lineup. Outside of Jacob Young, who you guys saw had the first and only hit for the Nationals in this game. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. There's a strikeout for McGreevy, back-to-back. Here in the bottom of the 4th, he's got 4 on the day.
Now batting, shortstop, C.J.
And now bring in C.J. Abrams, hitting .215.
That's ball 2.
There's ball 2 to C.J. Abrams. I think the pitching matchup for Game 3 of this series will be Mitchell Parker on the mound for Washington. And then the Cardinals will go for their ace, Sonny Gray. He'll pitch the final game of this series. And another strikeout for McGreevy. He just struck out the side. Here in the 4th inning. 5 strikeouts for the Cardinal rookie. As we go to the 5th inning. 2-0 Cardinals. Nationals going to their bullpen early today. Trevor Williams is done after 4 innings. So DJ Hers will come in. Try and eat some innings up here. Did I see he had a 10.42 ERA? He does. Oh my goodness. That's some like Charlie Morton numbers right there. 3 balls, 1 strikes to count to Duran. Seems like every team has like that one starter in their rotation where it's like whenever he's up to, like whenever he's starting, it's like, oh, well, automatic loss.
Up next for the
I feel like that's Charlie Morton's. I feel like's that guy this year for the Orioles. Like, seems like whenever I'm watching him in Baltimore, it seems like he's always getting shelled.
Nope.
I think it was like that in spring training a little bit too. I don't know. But what I do know is Trent Grisham's up, which means that Lars Nootbaar will be up next after him. Slider, ball 3. For the Cardinals in real life, it started off being Miles Michaelis, but he's actually not doing too bad this year, which is good. As Trent Grisham goes down on strikes, it's just the Cardinals, they don't really hit when Michaelis is throwing. People always give Jacob deGrom crap as Nootbaar strikes out for the 3rd time today. You know, it's like when deGrom won his Cy Youngs in 2018, 2019, and I'm not saying Miles Michaelis is on the same tier as Jacob deGrom. I'm not saying that at all. Jacob deGrom, when he was with the Mets, was a great pitcher. One of the best pitchers in the modern era. But when he was, you know, people who are like really big into like the pitcher, like win-loss records, you know, people look at like people or like pitchers who have like 20 wins. Oh, they're automatic, you know, Cy Young Award winners because they won 20 games, but and that type of stuff. But when deGrom won his Cy Youngs, I think in 2018, 2019, I think the first time he finished with like 10 wins, and then the second time he finished like with 11 wins. And people were giving him crap. It's like, oh, deGrom shouldn't have won the Cy Young because of his win-loss record, but you take that away. His ERA was still great. He still led the league in strikeouts. I think he led the league in innings pitched. You know, he was still putting up solid numbers. It's just his win-loss record didn't really look like someone who would win a Cy Young. But the reason for that is because it seemed like whenever deGrom pitched, you know, the Mets just didn't hit whenever he was starting. And this is when they had guys like Yoenis Cespedes and, you know, Jay Bruce and Todd Frazier and Adrian Gonzalez. And if the Mets had that lineup in 2010, if deGrom was pitching in 2010 and had those guys around him for his offense, you know, that would be pretty cool. You know, Jay Bruce, Adrian Gonzalez, they were both great hitters earlier in their careers, and Todd Frazier too. Well, I don't know. It just seemed like the Mets just never hit a majority of the time when deGrom pitched. There's a base hit for James Wood. Enough about Jacob deGrom. Let's get back to this game. Cardinals and Nationals. Here's Paul DeYoung, former Cardinal. And since 2023, he's been on a handful of different teams. I think he was traded to Toronto at the 2023 trade deadline, was DFA'd like 2 weeks later. DeYoung's gone on strikes again. Strikeout number 6, I believe, for McGreevy. Here's Keibert Ruiz. Yeah, Paul DeYoung, since then, he's been a Giant. I think it was with the White Sox last year. He's been on quite a bit of different teams.
Leading off for
Split last year at the White Sox and Royals, and now this year he's a National. But all right, 6th inning now. DJ Hurst is still throwing. Here's Wilson Contreras. He hits a grounder to second. Throw to first in time, and is in time for out number 1. Nice play at second by Garcia. And now bring in Arenado, 1 for 2 with a base hit.
2 balls, 1
He ended up having the first hit for the Cardinals in this game, and then Jordan Walker had the first 2 Cardinal runs of the game on a 2-run homer. Here's 2-1. That is smoked in, hit foul. Early on a slider. Here comes another 2-2. And another foul ball. This time a curve. There's a grounder to Abrams. 2 outs.
Now batting.
2 away now. Here is Jordan Walker to take you back to the 2nd inning. And he had this nice little home run to right field. They give St. Louis a 2-0 lead. And, well, the scores remain 2-0 since. He also had a double in his second at-bat. He's currently second. On the Cardinals in hits. Has the 2nd most hits in this Cardinal lineup with 41. And he strikes out to end the inning. To end the top of the 6th inning. Bottom of the inning coming up. Michael McGreevy, those are his starting pitching stats. I think this is his career stats. He doesn't really have many career stats. Or maybe those are his projected stats, I don't know. 1-2 pitch to Alex Call, grounder to third, Arenado. Throw to first in time, that's out number 1. My apologies for the confusion there. Here is Edmund Rosario, former New York Met, and then he was traded to Cleveland for Francisco Lindor. I think it's safe to say the Mets won the Francisco Lindor trade. 2 balls, 2 strikes is the count. Here's the 2-2. Rosario's gone. Strikeout number 8 for McGreevy.
Up next for the Nationals, center fielder Jacob Young.
This might end up being his last inning as he faces Jacob Young, lays down a bunt. And the count is 2-2. Grounder to Duran. And we go to the 7th. Score remains 2-0 Cardinals.
Leading off for St. Louis,
Alec
right
Burleson.
Alec Burleson.
Mason Wynn and Pedro Padres all due up here in the top of the 7th inning. DJ Hurst still throwing. He was pretty good in the first 2 innings that he's pitched in. Came in relief in the 5th inning, and for a guy who has an ERA over 10, heading into this game, he sure is dominant. The Cardinals sure are having problems hitting him. Watch, I say that, and then all of a sudden the Cardinals score like 10 runs in this inning. Kind of jinx DJ Hurst a little bit.
Now batting shortstop Mason Wynn.
Mason Wynn hits a high fly ball to left. Wood goes back, and this one is gone. Kiss it goodbye. A solo blast for Mason Wynn. His 3rd home run of the year, and it's a 3-0 Cardinal lead. Got a hold of a curveball. 79 miles per hour. Very good pitch to hit, and Mason Wynn was able to send this one out into the Cardinals bullpen. As you can see, they got a couple guys warming up, but let's go. Attaboy, Mason Wynn. Fly ball to center. 2 away.
Now batting.
Here's Ezekiel Duran.
Ezekiel Duran.
Here's a 2-2. That's it, foul. Check swing, and he's going on strikes. Bottom of the 7th inning coming up. Mason Wynn showing off his power. Hits his 3rd home run of the year. And gives the Cardinals a 3-0 lead.
For St. Louis.
Michael
Number
McGreevy is
61.
done after 6 innings. So Zach
Jackson
Jackson comes in out of the bullpen. He has been a lights-out reliever so far this year. 18 games, 3-0. He has a 0.00 ERA. I don't know how that's possible.
Ball, that's it. That's a ball.
3-1 to C.J. Abrams. Hitting .277, 0 for 2 today.
No, ball 4.
Up high, ball 4. Oh, that's Luis Garcia, my bad. Here's C.J. Abrams. There we go. There's a base hit in the right field. Over to second is Garcia, and it's 2-1. Nobody out for the Nationals. And that brings in Juan Yepez.
One ball, 2 strikes.
1 ball, 2 strikes is the count.
Ball, that's down.
Grounder to Contreras. 1. And flips for out number 2. There's the double play.
Now batting.
A 3-6-3 double play.
James Wood.
So that'll bring in James Wood, who we did look it up earlier, and he was in that Juan Soto trade alongside Mackenzie Gore and C.J. Abrams and many more. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but there's a strikeout. End of 7 here in D.C.
Leading off for the Cardinals, center fielder Trent
3-0 Cardinals. This might end up being a shorter game. Obviously, the quick counts are on. We got about 2 more innings left to go, and this game should be over. Cardinals have the top of their lineup 2 up, and Grisham's going on strikes for the second time. 6 strikeouts for DJ Hers, who's only allowed the Mason Wynn home run, and he's been really solid on the mound since he came in relief. Here comes the 1-2 to Newbar, and he strikes out again.
Now batting, first baseman Wilson Contreras. Now pitching for St. Louis, number 88, Phil Maton. Leading off,
Phil
for the
Maton
Nationals,
next up out of the
third
Redbird
baseman,
bullpen,
Paul DeYoung.
assuming that Ryan Helsley will come in for the 9th and get the save. 1-2 is the count. For those of you wondering about the simulation game series, the first game will be of the month of May will be tomorrow. Obviously, it's Sunday. We'll be in Toronto for that game. The Toronto Blue Jays and the Cleveland Guardians. I don't know why I chose the Blue Jays and Guardians for tomorrow's game. It's just, well, we didn't go to Toronto last year. I'd like to try and go to almost every stadium this year, as there's a fly ball to the left. Newbar, who's had a rough day, a rough game for Newbar with the bat. I'm pretty sure a little fly ball to left. A left field fly out will help him out quite a bit with the glove. One out. Here's Ruiz.
Now batting, the right fielder, Alex Hall.
Ruiz is going on strikes. 2 outs. Here is Alex Call. Going to the 9th. 3-0 Cardinals is the score.
Pitching for the Nationals, number 68, Evan Reifert.
Evan Reifert, what a name. Comes in to pitch the 9th inning, 3.80 ERA on the year.
Leading off for the Cardinals, third baseman Nolan.
It's pretty good if you ask me. Doing pretty solid on a Nationals team that's struggling. What's his overall? 56 overall. Okay. Don't know why his overall is super low. But either way, 2-1 count to Arenado. And chases a fastball. He swings and misses for strike 2. The 2-2 is the count. Arenado slaps one to left field over the head of James Wood. And this ball is down. It's going to be a double as it kind of hits off the wall. Arenado will have his 11th double of the year. And now bring in Jordan Walker, who is currently the leader, the #1 guy, or leading the league in RBIs this year with 38. Shohei Ohtani on the Dodgers trail him, obviously, with 35. 1-2. Walker, a grounder to third. One away. Jordan Walker, one of 2 home runs in this game, also hit by the Cardinals. The other one came from Mason Wynn. Here's Alec Burleson. Count is 1-1. Runner at second, 1 out. There's a grounder hit down the line. It's going to go foul. Because, of course, it will.
Ball.
2-2. Fouled off, 2-2.
He's out.
Now batting, shortstop, Mason.
2 away. Runner moves over to third. Here's Mason Wynn.
1 strike.
Got a 2-1 count. Wynn into shallow right center field. That is going to drop for a base hit. A run will score, and it's 4-0 Cardinals.
Now batting, catcher, Pedro.
Now bring in Pedro Pages. 0 for 3. He's still hitting .343. Chases a fastball. A 2-seam fastball, to be more specific. 3-2. Cardinals starting up a 10-game road trip here in Washington, obviously, and then we'll be in Philadelphia. And then we'll end the road trip in Kansas City. Pages strikes out. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Here comes... Oh, never mind. I guess they're not going to go to Helsley. Phil Maton will stay in for the 9th inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
2 balls, 2 strikes is the count to Edmund Rosario. Nationals have the top of their lineup due up. And the count is 2-2. A fly ball to left field. 1 away.
Now batting, the center fielder, Jacob Young.
And a cutter fouled off by Jacob Young, 1-2. Hit foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the Next pitch on the way. There's a sweeper. He strikes out. And just like that, the Nationals down to their final out. Here's Luis Garcia. 0 for 2 with a walk here today. Nationals only with 3 hits in this game. They were not able to get anything going on. A whole lot going on offensively against Michael McGreevy and then Zach Jackson and now Phil Maton. A 1-2. There's a grounder to Mason Wynn. Backhands it. Throw to first. In time to get him. And the Cardinals hold on for the win. A 4-0 shutout behind their rookie Michael McGreevy. 6 scoreless innings for him. And then the bullpen came in, did the rest. Took care of the rest. McGreevy picks up his 4th win of the year. Phil Maton with a 6-out save, his 2nd save of the year, giving Ryan Helsley the day off. And that's all we got for you here today on Let's Talk Sports. We'll probably be back later today. I'm not too sure if it's going to be baseball. Not too sure if we're going to do football. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got for you today. As the Cardinals pull off a 4-0 win, a 2-run homer hit by Jordan Walker. And then Mason Wynn scored the other 2 RBIs, a home run, and then an RBI single in the 9th. To win it for the Redbirds here in the nation's capital. They won the first 2 games of this series here against the Nationals. And that's all we got for you here on Let's Talk Sports. I'm Josh Wright, signing off from our nation's capital.